welcome to a not so sunny Glasgow, quite a chilly Glasgow. There's some really scary clouds. I think it's going to rain, so I would really prefer it didn't. But anyway, we'll see how we go. If it does rain and it gets heavy, I might have to stop towards the end just to protect the gimbal, but yeah, hopefully we'll be fine. Now, if you're new to HeyGo, my name is Sam Thompson. I'm an Edinburgh tour guide, and I've been a tour guide for 23 years, and I guide all over Scotland. So I've come from Edinburgh to Glasgow today, and it took me an hour and a half to get here. So if you have any questions, you have the chat facility. You can pop them in the chat. I may or may not see your question, because the chat can move quite quickly. It's not that I'm ignoring you, and if you ask again and I still miss it, again, I'm not ignoring you, I've just not seen the question. If you tip me and I don't say thank you, and again, it's not because I don't appreciate you, it's just it can move quickly and I don't always see it, and I don't want people being upset by that, okay? And I very rarely name anyone, because I'm severely dyslexic and I mispronounce things and misread things. So I have a couple of people that I know, like I've just spotted Dustin whizzing up there in Sweden. I always say hello Sweden, that's not her name, but she knows I know who, she knows what I mean. So yeah, so please don't be upset if I don't, seem to be appreciating you. I do. Right, so if you enjoy the way I do tours, there's a follow button, you can press that, and that will then let you know. If you want a specific tour, I think there's a little bell function, you can press that and it'll give you a reminder to say, oh, this is coming on now. So you've got that option. Thank you everyone that came along. We're just going to have a little wander. We're starting, if you've done my other Glasgow tours, this is a combination of both, but I've added bits to it, and it's been such a long time since we've done it, I thought it'll be fine to do it like this, because eventually what I'd like to do is add a second part to this. But anyway, so where we are, we're in Glasgow Necropolis at the moment, so I'll just let you see, we get quite a nice view of the cathedral from here. Now, as we look at the cathedral from the back, you can actually see it's huge. But when we see it from the front, it'll look quite small. Yeah, but I'm just going to turn around just to kind of give you a little view of part of the necropolis. We're not going to see it today. I just start up here so you can see the cathedral and everything. But there is a massive amount to explore in the necropolis. If you happen to stay in Glasgow, if you do get the time, do come up. There is actually a society or a Friends of Glasgow Necropolis that offer tours and things, so it is worth it if you've got the chance. Now, Glasgow Necropolis has approximately 3,500 tombs and about 50,000 burials, just so you get the idea of the size of it. Now, in the 1650s, the Merchant's House bought the land here, which was part of the Wester Craigs estate. But this side of the estate was really rocky, and it wasn't really suitable for development. So it was basically planted with trees and turned into a park, and that was known as Fir Park. Now, in 1804, though, the Scots firs started to die and were replaced with elm and willow, and then it became known as Victoria Park. And then, once you get to 1825, the foundation stone of the John Knox monument was laid. So right at the top here, you can see the statue. That's John Knox. He was the religious reformer. He was the driving force behind the religious reformation in Scotland. So we went from being a Catholic country to a Presbyterian, and he was the one that was the kind of, well, he was the driving force. He was the kind of the leader of it, sort of thing. So you will see statues of Knox all over the place, and you'll also see his name and street names and things like that. So the foundation stone was laid in 1825, and in 1831 the competition to have this land converted into a cemetery was held. So they had this competition, and I think, what was it? I think there were 16 applicants. But I'll come on to that. I just want to show you this little. Can I just stone here, please? Oh, are you looking at it too? No, I was just having a chat. Sorry, I thought I was chucking you out there, and I thought, no, I've just interrupted a guide rather than a chat. Sorry, thank you. So this is the only grave I'm going to show you because it just happens to be on the path. And this, I know, terrible. This is it's in memory of William Miller, and he was laureate of the nursery and author of Wee Willie Winkie. And he was born in Glasgow in 1810 and died in 1872. Now, he wrote the Scottish nursery rhyme Wee Willie Winkie, and that was first published in 1841, and it was published in the Whistle Binkie. You may or may not have heard of it. Most Scots of a certain generation have heard of it. So it's Wee Willie Winkie runs through the toon, upstairs and downstairs in his night gown, turling at the windows, crying at the locks. Are all the children in their bed? It's past 10 o'clock. That's the first part of it. And I mixed Scots and English in there, but it was just to let you understand. So we've got this little easy monument there. Yeah. So we're gonna head down the hill. But actually, you know, the grey sky sometimes gives you this lovely green. It gets the greens of the plants to pop out. So, well, I'm not going to complain too much about the weather. Now, as I say, the competition when it was held. Oh, sorry, did somebody ask a question and I missed it? I'm sorry about that. All right, the old Royal Infirmary is the red building overlooking the Necropolis. That building over there, yeah, we will be there eventually. Yeah, we're going to get round to it. Well, not as far right, but we'll see part of it. So they held a competition, and there was 5 prizes ranging from £1 to £50 that were offered, and it was advertised in the newspapers of the time. Now, 16 plans were received and put on exhibition so that everyone could have a look at them. The winner of the competition was actually an Edinburgh architect, David Bryce, or better known for being Edinburgh architect. And his brother actually won the second prize, John Bryce of Glasgow. So talk about keeping it in the family. Now, the burial ground was always intended to be interdenominational, so it was always intended to be for everyone. And the first burial here was actually Joseph Levi, and he was a Jewish jeweller, and he was buried here in 1832. So you can just see the sign there. Jim, I don't think it's discrimination, because they have their own burial grounds in Edinburgh, where they've got areas, just like if it's an interdenominational one, there's certain religions that are all buried together. I don't think it's actually meant to be insulting. If they were trying to insult the Jews, they wouldn't have let them be buried here full stop. They would have given them a burial ground somewhere else. This was the most fashionable place at the time, and his was the first burial. I mean, I could be wrong, but I don't think that's what's intended by it having a separate enclosure. It's just certain religions have different ways of dealing with death and funerals. And I think it's more to do with that and making sure you're close to your family members and things. Now, where was I? Oh, aye. The second burial was in 1833, and that was actually a Christian lady called Elizabeth Milne, and she was actually the stepmother of the superintendent George Milne and head gardener of the Necropolis. So I don't know if she kind of got special favours because of who her son was, her stepson, but anyway. So yes, it's a multi-denominational burial. Now, originally the Necropolis was meant to be catacombs, so I'll actually have to walk back to get this in for you. So I think I'm just about getting in. I'm trying not to walk into a pole. So originally there was meant to be catacombs hollowed out in the hill, and that's where the burials were, but things changed and it ended up on top of the hill. So this is now kind of like a storage area and that kind of thing. But I'll let you have a little look at the Merchants House of Glasgow sign, just telling you about the bridge we're about to walk over. but it's beautifully decorated rather. Like the detail on it, nothing's spared. Unfortunately, this sandstone's quite a soft one by the looks of it, and it's worn quite badly. Yeah, I think it's just more to do with trying to find a place big enough for everyone. Now, yeah, so this bridge is crossing a ravine. It's the Mullendiner or the Mullendiner, I never can pronounce it right. There was a little burn that ran under here. It's been diverted or taken underground anyway, culverted. But I'll just let you show. This is the Bridge of Sighs. And the Bridge of Sighs was built in 1833 by James Hamilton, the son of the more famous David Hamilton. But anyway, it crosses this ravine that we can see just down here. And the name probably comes from the sorrow of the last walk with the dead as they're taken to their burial site from the cathedral through that process. Hi everyone, just joining. We're at the beginning. We've only done about 10 minutes or so. How cold today? It's saying it's about 8 or 9 degrees, but there's the wind. The wind is catching, and that's bringing it right down. Now I'm just going to show you, because Glasgow's the Glasgow sandstone, we will see more, is this red colour. We get lots of red sandstone here because their stone was laid down in deserts, whereas in Edinburgh side of the country it was laid down in shallow lagoons, and that's where you get this lovely creamy coloured sandstone that you can see. The bridge should be cream, I'll show you a bit just as we come round here. It's just, there's the more cream coloured. Now I'm going to tell you about St Kentigern. Oh, sorry, I'm just going to have to scroll down for a second. I didn't know if No, you haven't missed the Necropolis. I'm not doing the Necropolis, really. I just started there to show you a little bit, because the Necropolis needs a tour on its own. There's so much to see there. Now, St Kentigern is the patron saint of Glasgow. His pet name is St Mungo. Okay? Now, Kentigern was born to Thinu, who was the daughter of King Loth. If you know Edinburgh, you know it's in the Lothians. So King Loth, and that's where you get Lothian from. Now, Thinu, there's various editions of the story, whichever one you want to go with. Thinu fell in love, and she got secretly married, in my edition, to someone who was a lesser standing in the community, and her father obviously wanted to marry his daughter off to someone wealthy that could give him money or more power, kind of thing. So Thinu eventually became pregnant, and her father found out, and he couldn't kill her, but he was not a happy person about the situation, so he took her to the top of Traprain Law, which is in East Lothian, a hill, and he put her in a barrel and he pushed her over the side, expecting that falling down in this barrel, going down this hill would kill her. It didn't. So he then took her to the Firth of Forth, the river, and he placed her in a coracle, which is a kind of round little tiny boat thing made out of animal skins and wood. Not the kind of thing you want to go to sea in. So he placed her in the coracle and he pushed her out. Now the river was flowing out to the North Sea, the tide was going out. But for some reason the tide turned and took the coracle upstream and deposited her in Curis, which is in on the east coast. So she's landed in Curis. Now Saint Cerf was in Curis. He had a religious settlement there, and he took in Thinu. She then had the baby, Kentigern, and he liked the boy, he favoured the boy, so he was his favourite, but the other boys didn't appreciate the fact that he was the favourite. So this brings us to the miracles of Kentigern. Now, when he was at Curis, Saint Cerf had a pet robin, and somehow the robin died. So Kentigern picked up the robin in his hands, prayed over the bird, and the bird came back to life. So that was the first miracle. The tree, which we'll see in a minute, I'll show you the coat of arms of Glasgow. He fell asleep one night when it was his turn to watch the holy fire. He fell asleep. The boys let him, they knew what was happening. They let him fall asleep and the fire went out, the holy fire went out. So Kentigern took 2 frozen hazel branches and prayed over them, and they rekindled the fire. So that's the next miracle. Now I'll come back to it, I just want to show you these lovely gates. These are the gates to the bridge leading to the Necropolis from the cathedral. Aren't they gorgeous? Right. Now, next is the bell. So just up here, I'm going to just show you that, and I'll try and zoom in for you so you can see it better. That's the emblems of Glasgow. So the bell was actually given to Kentigern by the Pope. The ring that you can see in the salmon's mouth, this is down to the Queen of sort of Strathclyde. Her husband wasn't paying her enough attention, and she was feeling neglected. He seemed to be there was more important things than her, and she really took it to heart. And eventually she had a man who knew how to say the right things, and she had a dalliance. He asked her for a symbol of her love, so she gave him a ring that her husband had given to her. Now, once she'd given the ring, she realised her mistake. She realised she actually did love her husband, and that it was just a passing phase. He did love her. But by this point, she'd gone back to the lover and said, you know, this is over, can I have my ring back? And he said no, that he'd lost it. So she was heartbroken. What she didn't realise was her lover had then whispered in the king's ear that his wife was having an affair, and that she had given the ring to her lover. Now, the king really did love his wife, and he didn't want to believe it, but he didn't want to come out and ask her straight, because he didn't want her thinking he didn't trust her. So he arranged for a party, and he said to his wife that he was going to have this party, and he really wanted her to wear the ring to show everyone how much he loved her. And of course she was devastated because she didn't have the ring. So she went to St Kentigern and she told St Kentigern what had happened. She repented, she told him she was sorry, it was a mistake, it never should have happened. And he believed her. So he told her to get her servant to go down to the River Clyde, cast in a line and bring him the first fish that they caught. So she did this. The salmon was caught, brought to Kentigern. He then slit the belly of the fish open, and inside was the ring. So there's the third miracle. I'm just trying to get it so you've got the cathedral and that lamppost giving you there. So yes, so Glasgow Cathedral, well, Glasgow itself was probably founded in the 6th century. Kentigern built his church in a place called Glasgow, which means green place, on the banks of the Mulladyner Burn, which is the ravine that we've just gone over. Now, the cathedral itself, it's the only medieval cathedral to survive the religious Reformation virtually intact, because the merchants protected it. They didn't want it being damaged. They'd spent too much money on it. Now, around it there was a Shannonry, a precinct where bishops, archbishops and clergy lived. It was a little thriving borough sprung up around the cathedral, to the south and west, and it was under the bishop's patronage. Now, it's believed that Kentigern was buried on the site, and Kentigern's shrine is inside the cathedral. But as we see it from this side, it's not too big, but remember we saw it from the back, so there's floors down, and the signal's not good at that point, so I can't take you in to see it. Now, he was buried on this site, and we think it was 612 AD. Now it's it's one of the finest buildings in Scotland from the 1200s, and parts of it are actually older than the 1200s. And we have quite a bit of burial ground just going on to the side of us here as well. Right, now I am going to pop us in the door of the cathedral. They may or may not ask me to leave again, but I did check a little bit and I could take it in slightly, so we'll see. Right. Excuse me for a second while we go in. It is free to visit the cathedral if you do come. Donations are very welcome. Yes, it is. It is an amazing bit, but unfortunately I can't take you down because I'll lose the signal, but I will take you over as far as I can. Right, I'm going to have to come back out, the signal's going. But yeah, and these volunteers are absolutely fantastic. The volunteer group, if you get the chance to come and get one of the volunteers. Thank you. Oops, sorry. Oh, I'm just going to wait here for a second. Sorry, I didn't want to talk too loudly because it's a church, and although it is a visit attraction as well, there's people praying and things, so I wasn't wanting to I didn't want to talk. Now the building, sorry, that was just a little quick look in. I am going to do a video and doing it as live because that way I can avoid filming people and things and I can take my time about it. Now, the building fabric from Bishop Joslin's time is still standing. So his time was 1174 to 1199, and he's recorded as gloriously enlarging the cathedral during the Reformation. Like I say, the cathedral itself was cleansed. It did go through the cleansing where all the Catholic sort of trappings were removed, and it was turned into a parish church. Now it was actually turned into 3 parish churches, a bit like St Giles got turned into several parish churches as well. You have what was it now? Right, the first one, the choir housed the inner high kirk. At the end of the nave, it housed the outer high kirk, and then you had the crypt which housed the barony kirk. So there was 3 different congregations using the building. But sometimes you're lucky and this door's open. Not all the time, sometimes in the summer just to let the air flow and things as well. If you have mobility issues, there is actually a disabled lift access there, like that'll take you down, so you can. It doesn't get you into all of the church, but it gets you into some of it. Right, now, just ahead of us we have the Museum of Religious Life, but somebody mentioned the infirmary. We're looking at a slightly later bit of it here, but yes, so you've got the infirmary. The buildings are all here. This is the Glasgow Infirmary. Now, in the 18th century, Glasgow kind of grew rapidly and it outgrew what it had when it came to sort of basic hospital type treatment. So they needed an infirmary of an adequate size, something that was... I have an echo. All right, okay. Right, let me just see. I think everything's plugged in right. Right, how's that now? Sounds... Oh, it's okay, right. Okay, that's fine. If you're having any... Say you get a little echo or the sound goes funny or the picture gets pixelated, try refreshing your screen, because sometimes it might just be a little glitch in certain areas rather than me. Quite often it can be a mic, because they do die. I think I must be on number 10 or 11 by now. But yeah... Nothing worse than your mic breaking. So basically Glasgow in the 1700s starts to expand rapidly, and we didn't have an adequate provision. So this is when the Royal Infirmary, or the infirmary as it was, starts to take place. So Robert Adam was actually given the task of designing the hospital in 1791. Robert Adam's quite a famous artist in Scotland. He also did a lot of things in England, like the Adam style fireplaces and interiors and that kind of thing. In fact, the whole Adam family were architects. So yeah. Now, his first design was actually knocked back because it was too expensive. So his second design was trimmed back a bit and cost £7,000, and at that point it was accepted. In 1772, the infirmary received its royal charter, so it then became the Royal Infirmary. But unfortunately that was the same year that Robert Adam died. The project was actually taken over by his brother James, and it was his younger brother James that took it over and did most of the main construction by 1794. But sadly, James Adam then died as well. So just over the entrance here we can see a seated statue. That's Queen Victoria. So there's lots of statues of Queen Victoria. She didn't like most of them because she was a bit vain, as you can imagine. You'd never like seeing a picture of yourself when you're looking kind of chubby. But yeah, so we have this statue here. Oh yeah, there's hauntings everywhere here. This area is haunted. Yeah, the hospital's haunted. You've got because you've got the burial ground and everything. Plus, you've got where the old buildings were for the religious settlement as well. So I'm just going to try and let you have a little... It's a shame those two ladies are walking straight at us, but anyway. So in the 1800s, the Glasgow Royal Infirmary was finally fully functional. 8 wards over 4 floors, each containing 12 beds. There was an operating theatre in the dome, yeah, and on a Sunday it was used as a chapel. There's no lifts at this point, so all the surgical patients had to be carried up and down the stairs before and after their operation, which just blows the mind. In the basement, it housed the apothecary, the shop, the laboratory, the laundry, I think it was as well. Yeah. Now the dome became a permanent chapel once we get to 1861, and then we start to see the improvements with Lord Lister's surgical unit and that kind of thing. Yes, there are some very interesting murder cases, and I didn't want to say it out loud because whenever you do, somehow another guide, even though they're not watching, gets an idea to do the same thing as you. So yes, but watch this space. So this is a statue of David Livingstone. He was a medical missionary and explorer. He died trying to discover the source of the Nile. All I'm going to say is back in here. Oh my gosh, it's funny. Yeah, you think you've got a unique idea and then boom, fate puts you in your place. Right, now just across the way here Sadly, I can't take you over because you can see there is lots and lots of scaffolding, and even the garden's shut. So as you look at the scaffolding to the right, you can see a low building running just above the head of the cars there. Oh, sorry, the wind's catching me. Now, that's Province Lordship. Sorry, the wind is blowing. I'm just going to pop 2 pictures in so that you can see what it looks like when it's not covered in scaffolding. Now, Province Lordship is the oldest house in Glasgow, and it was built in 1471. It's actually one of only 4 surviving medieval buildings in Glasgow, and it was built by Andrew Muirhead, who was actually the bishop, a bishop at the time, and it was built as part of St Ninian's Hospital. So behind it is St Ninian's Garden. The old house, or the old house as it's called, is furnished with a really lovely collection of 17th century furniture and royal portraits. And behind the building is, like I say, you've got the herb garden, St Ninian's, and it's actually, if you look at the picture, if you enlarge it, you can take screenshots. But that garden, even though you can hear the traffic and everything, it's one of those ones you can just sit and relax. And the way they've got the beds laid out is each bed is for a specific part of the body. So there's a bed for the lungs, there's a bed for the heart, there's a bed for the womb, there's a bed for the brain. It's really, really nice. It's beautiful. Hopefully, if by the time you get here, this will be opened again and you'll be able to go and have a look around. Now, in 1906, I'm just going to move away so you can still see a bit of it, the building was actually occupied by the Morton family, and they used it as a sweet shop and a sweetie factory, but today it's actually run by the council, and the council give free admission, but as you can see there's a little bit of work being done at the moment. Right, so here we have the Museum of Religious Life. The Museum of Religious Life is exactly what it is. It's all religions from all over the world, and it's a free museum. And I think it's probably the only, or one of only a few in the world that are purely dedicated to religion. So if you get the chance, it is definitely worth having a little look inside. Just some of the artwork's gorgeous. Now if we look at the building, you can see this is kind of, oh, what's happening here? Right, stop it. There we are, that's better. So you can see it's kind of old style. It's got turrets, a turnpike staircase, you know, small windows, that kind of thing, because it's actually built on the site of what was the bishop's castle. Okay, you see a bit of old stonework here, and I'll just bring you up and show you the stone. Now, it's actually an award-winning museum as well. Now, it was built on the site of the medieval castle, and they've designed it like that. And part of that is this. This is reminding us of the castle. You would see stones like this on castles. This one, though, is saying this stone was laid by His Royal Highness the Prince of Wales, Duke of Rothesay, 1988. On one side you've got the lion rampant, and on the other side you've got this lovely version of Glasgow's coat of arms there. Now there's lots to see in here. There's lots of galleries that you can explore, full of lots of different things. It's amazing. On the top floor there's actually a great view over the castle. They've got a lovely area for the kids to go and explore as well, where they can draw and do all sorts of things like that. And it was the first, or it is the home of the first Zen garden to be built in Scotland. So if the gate is still open, I'll take you around and let you have a little look at it. But I just want to show you this, because I'm always saying to people, it's amazing what you miss when you don't look up, but it's also amazing what you miss if you don't look down. So here, I don't know if you can read it because it's quite dark, but it says the site of the bishop's castle well circa 16th century. So this is where the well for the castle was. Inside the cathedral there's actually a water source as well. There's a well in there. Right. Ooh, the garden's open, so I'll just pop you in and let you have a little look at it. It's small, but it's So this is the little Zen garden. It's pretty, yeah? I'll just get up to the corner so you can have a look at it from there. Now there is a cafe, it's shut at the moment though, but the other thing that's important to remember is that it has toilets here. I'm trying to get as far back so you can see as much of it as you can. And then just down here's the little sign telling you about it. And you can see the lines where it's been raked. Isn't that beautiful? And we've got a water source. And there's a little sign about it. Okay, there you are. Right, so we're just gonna... Actually, no, look there, that's quite a nice picture. You're getting the cathedral in at the background there. Right, so I'm just going to take you out. Oh, this is madness. I'm just looking at the time, I'm like, oh dear. Right, we will get as much done as we can. Don't worry. I'm just going to take us over. I wanted to show us into the little garden over here, but I might just walk down the side of it. Just ahead of us, what I like that they've done here is they've got these little bronze 3D maps to show you where everything is. I quite like it. So if I bring it round, hopefully I'll let you take a picture of the top. Sorry, the gimbal's just gone on a wander to itself. And then if we come back a little bit, you can kind of get that and the cathedral in almost. So when you look back at your postcards, you'll remember what it is you were looking at. But it's quite, I think it's quite good the way they've done it. We used to have a big one where the museums are in Edinburgh, and it was a very touchy-feely, fantastic thing. But unfortunately, for some reason, they took it away, and I'm not sure if it's going to come back or not. We'll need to wait and see, but I hope it does, because it really helped when you were trying to explain how Edinburgh's made up. Right. Let's see. We're going to have a little look at Cathedral Square, which is just across the way here. A few statues and things, but I want to show you the police box because we've seen them in Edinburgh, but the ones in Glasgow are different. Same idea, but a slightly different shape. And I think this one's been turned into a coffee hut or something. We'll see when we get across. I don't know if I want to risk it because I'm not sure. I don't know how the traffic changes here, so I'll just wait for the green man. Nope, it's just as well I waited. So Province Lordship, where the scaffolding is at the side there, that's where the entrance to the garden is. You can also get in through the house, but it's a shame the garden's shut off as well, because it really is a lovely place to have a little look around. We're just waiting for the green man to come on. And then you can see the Necropolis up on the hill there. Massive site. That's why it needs a tour all to itself. Isn't there strikes or something? Not that's affecting me. There was a strike for some of the Historic Scotland workers. I think that was on Wednesday. There's been train strikes, there's been all sorts of different strikes. Everybody's kind of having problems at the moment, so yeah. So this is just a little map letting you, so you've got that, and you can see where it says you are here. I'll just show you here. You're here. Okay, so this is just a fantastic little police box. You can see the siren on the top, so there's a siren on the top. Some of them had sirens, some of them had flashing lights. No, that's a light actually, I'm lying to you, that's a light. So yeah, so the light would flash to let the policeman know that he was needed to come to the box. And then as we come round, you can see it's the public police phone, so you could contact the police. Doctor Who, exactly, yeah. It was also a holding cell, so if there was a person being very, very naughty, they could be locked in here until someone could come along and take away. HeyGo tour guides need to do a strike against the gimbals. Yeah, you must behave, gimbal. If you don't behave, we're not using you. Oh dear. So yeah, so that's what that was for. Now, so we have a statue over here. Is William III. The statue was actually commissioned by James McCrae in 1735 and was erected at the Tontine Hotel in Trongate. Now, in 1897, due to the statue obstructing traffic, it had to be moved. So it was moved to a traffic island in front of Glasgow Cross Station. I'll let you see it again as we come round. So it was moved again. And then in 1923, the statue was put into storage. In 1926, it was moved here to Cathedral Square. It's bronze. It's depicting William III. He's dressed as a Roman. That was the fashion. Dressed as the Roman, and the sculptor's unknown on this one, which is quite unusual. So you've got this lovely little garden area here. The little low building, toilets. No longer in use, but it's toilets. So that's what that is. So there's lots of green spaces here too. And then we can see the back of the statue there. Right, I'll just take us round. I'll just show you, there's a memorial garden just over here. It's for children. It's quite a peaceful, beautiful memorial, to be fair. I'm not going to go in because it is a memorial for children, but it's beautifully done, and those parents who wanted their children remembered have the little name. They can get plaques and put them on. Right. Yeah, we had some scandals with our crematoriums in Edinburgh and in Glasgow. When it came to cremating infants, they were told the parents there wasn't any ashes, and just all sorts of horribleness. But fortunately it was found out, and eventually the parents have been given an apology. Not that you can really get over it, but at least it won't happen again. Oh, you've got a friend here studying? Oh, excellent. So that's just letting you see. Oh. The road is closed. Hopefully the pavement is open, because if not, we're not going to get to see St Mungo. So there's the statue again. Right, let me see what's happening here, because I need to be on the other side of the road. That bike's going down, so I think we should be alright. Sam, do you do other tours of Glasgow? Yeah, well, I'm aiming to end at George Square, but we're kind of running out of time to get there. Can I get down that way? Yes, I can. Right, I'm going to cross the road. So yeah, I'm aiming to be at George Square. The problem is my timing when it comes to Glasgow is a bit off because I don't get to really practice it that much before I get to do it. So I'm thinking what I'm going to have to do is do a part tour and start in George Square and do it from there. I can try and give a tour of anywhere as long as I can get a signal. If y'all forgive me because it's the first time I've been in Glasgow this year, and I don't understand how. I don't know. I used to be paranoid about ending early, and now I'm finding it really hard to end on time. I'm thinking I'll have to do a part 2, and we can maybe see if we can do Merchant City, George Square, and maybe Sucker Hall Street or somewhere like that, or take it down to the Tron, Market Cross, that kind of thing. Yes, Jim, definitely the university. Even if I have my signal. Where's my signal? Come back to me, signal. Are we here? Right, can I get a thumbs up if you're... Oh, thank goodness. Sorry, the signal completely disappeared there, and it's never done that one before either. So this is a beautiful mural of St Kentigern, St Mungo. See, you've got the robin. So behind his head, up on the right, you can see the robin, and he's got the robin on his finger. It's just beautiful. And the murals, there's actually a mural trail that you can do, and they were created to kind of give a splash of colour across the city. Do you know what? I might actually do the murals, but do it as an as live and record each one kind of thing. Oh, the signal's gone again. Oh, this isn't funny. Right, I'm hoping you can still maybe see. Look at the detail on his finger, his second finger. He's got a plaster on, like a band-aid. It's just... And this is by an artist called Smudge. Yeah, so the artist is Smudge. The signal's ropey here, so I'm just going to go down and we'll have a look at one of the other... It's pretty bloody, yeah, it's the signal. I'll just keep walking, just stay with me, and hopefully whatever's happened to the signal in this area, it could be because of all the scaffolding and the building work, there's maybe a signal tower out, so we'll just keep going. St Mungo, yes, so his formal name is Kentigern, his pet name is Mungo. So his mother is Saint Thinu, but she gets called Saint Enoch. So yeah, they've both got two names. If you're in Glasgow though, you would call him Mungo and you would call her Enoch. Sorry, I'm trying to get away from here so that we can get a better signal. Once I get round the corner, it should be okay again. Kentigern, can somebody pop Kentigern in for me? I have no way of spelling that myself. And if somebody could try and put in Thinu. Enoch is E-N-O-C-H. The CH is a sound. Right, I don't know what's going on with the signal now, but where we're standing, away in the distance, you can see the Tron. Part of the Tron, the tower there, just in the distance with the clock. I'm not going down that way today, but I think at some point we will do it. I'm really sorry about the signal issues. There's not usually a problem here, but I'm going to come round the corner and we're going to have a look at another mural. Now there is one straight in front of us, but I'm going to talk about that in a minute once we've had a look at the one that's just next to, behind us at the moment. This is a university. It's absolutely, I love it's showing you all the different what they do in the department here. So you've got the nautical studies and everything. Right. Okay. Right, I'm just going to turn us round. And there we are. So here you see the robin again, the connection. Strathclyde Uni, yes, yeah, that's what it is. So you've got the robin, you've got that connection, and this is St Enoch, okay? And it was done by Smudge again in 2018. I might zoom in a bit actually. I'll just take it in one, so just get the detail a little bit better. Now it's featuring. You can see the mother and child. St Enoch's cradling her baby son Mungo. And this it has the robin as the reoccurring theme, but the mural is also in a good location because it's right next to Rotten Row, which is where Glasgow's Royal Maternity Hospital was. So it's a celebration of motherhood. So I like this one. Oh, don't worry, Jeanette. The number of times I turn up for a tour and people think I'm going to be a man. It's crazy. Right, you've no idea. Oh, right, so Strathclyde University, this one. I'll let you have a look at the detail and hope nobody runs me down. This is Wonderwall, and it celebrates the people of the university and their significant. Oh, there's a car. And their significant roles, the things that they've done. And you've got the 7-storey building. As we go along, there's lots of murals on the side. But I'm just going to slightly detour because there's no cars. I'm going to nip across the road here. Right. So we have this tiny little Deanside park, this little park here. And plus the good thing about this is we get to see the next one. The Billy Connolly murals are lovely. So I will show you this one in a second, but I just want to kind of show you this little green space. It's easy to miss, and basically Deanside Well Garden is where we're standing, 38 George Street, which is what we're on. Now there's a Glasgow historian, Andy McGregor, and he told of a spring which was then and for a long time afterwards of great repute, so it was good drinking water, okay? Now, there are records of it in the 1300s. The Bishop of Glasgow allowed Christians to take water from the well into their convent. So yes, and there's possibly, it may well have been a holy well, but we've not got any written records of it because it was used by the bishops and the monks in the area. So it could have been a holy well. But what I like about this tiny little bit of park, as well as that, you have this. So you can see the robin, and then it says, bird, here is the bird that never flew. So this is part of the poem about Glasgow. And then you have the leaf, here is the tree that never grew. And then you have the fish. I'll see if I can get it up. Here, I can't read this one. I am the God who was created in the head of fire. So this is the fish that never swam. And here, turning you around slowly, this is the bell that never rang. So you've got the bell on it there. Sorry, gimbal's giving me jip. And here's the other one with the fish on it. So yeah. So this is a little poem that helps you sorry, the gimbal's gone off on a little wonder to itself. This is giving you a reminder of the meaning of the coat of arms of Glasgow. So it's really, I like the way this little garden's done. But there's no information boards, there's nothing to tell you what this is. So it's such a shame, because it's so easy just to walk past it and think it's just a bit of overgrown land. So here again you've got another one of these murals. Now I am going to turn the camera because it's too big to fit in. So close your eyes. Right, open your eyes. Isn't that amazing? Right, close your eyes. And that's it, back up so you can open your eyes again. There is so much to see here, and I'm really sorry. I honestly don't know what possessed me to think I could fit it into an hour. Right, and then, right, what I'm going to do, and I hope this is okay with everyone, is I am going to stop. I'm going to do this mural, and I'm going to do one more. And then the next time I come to Glasgow, we're going to do from George Square on, rather than try and rush it and overrun, because there's other tours on and I don't want to step on guides' toes. So we've got all sorts of famous people associated with Glasgow here as we come along. It's a beautiful, I really like the way they've done this. Oh look, and there's the TARDIS. Well, thank you. We've got 4 minutes, and I think I should make it down to the mural that's down on the left here. It's a cracking one, and I think it would be worth us going to see it. There is a mural on the side of this building as well, so just give me a second. Because the one down here's got all the animals on it and things. It's just brilliant. As long as it's still there. Hopefully they've not painted over it. It's right next to a car park. But it's massive. So as we come round, you can see the sports department, the PE department there. And then as we keep walking round, I love this. I'm going to turn it for you in a second. But you see the door where she's waiting, you can see her shadow. Now close your eyes, everyone. Look at that. Isn't that brilliant? Now I'm just putting you back. Right. Okay, so just down here. I think it's a brilliant way to do it. You know, because the 1970s architecture. See, that's the mural that we're coming up to, the one down here. 1970s architecture can be quite depressing. It's very grey and industrial and, you know, that kind of thing. If you're a sponsor, I can. If you want me to put a recording on and let you get a link to it, yeah, I can do that. It's not a problem. Just you'll need to give me time to do it though, because not very techy, but I don't mind. Yeah, I can do that. That's fine. If I forget, remind me, because you know I've got memory like a sieve for these things. But yeah, Glasgow's just. It's a great place. It's just it's so spread out, and some of the buildings were a bit tired and a bit kind of unwelcoming. I don't know how to say it, but when they've put the murals on, it's just made it completely different, because now you're looking at it with a completely different eye. Yeah, I'm going to, Jill, definitely I think we'll need to do it, because the murals in Glasgow are just fantastic. And there's this beautiful one of Thenu, St Enoch, with this lovely shawl and everything, but it's right out the way, so it's not the easiest one if you're doing a walking tour. So I definitely will come and spend a day getting the murals and everything so that we can watch that. But yeah, so this is fantastic. Now the fun part is getting across this road, and I think we're going to make it. Yes, yep. Right. Now just bear with me while I climb over the fence. This mural's huge, so I'm going to have to walk you along it, but oh. Right, there we are. She made it. Oh. Now look at that. So we're looking at a broken wall and the man's picking mushrooms through the wall. You can see his kilt, the top of his kilt there. You've got the shadow of the leaf, and then we come down and you've got these lovely mushrooms. Isn't that fantastic? I mean, it's a wall of a car park. Yeah, it's absolutely beautiful. And then as we come round this little part here, try and let you show you the side here. Oops, sorry, just fell down a hole. So again, you've got these beautiful autumn colours and this lovely blue tit, and the mushrooms behind her at the back there, all broken through. And then if we look up, you have that little leaf blowing in the wind with the shadow behind it, and it keeps going. So here, that black bird is a capercaillie. Kind of, I think it's like it would look a bit like a small turkey, like kind of, if you imagine a miniature one. And then just here we've got the mushroom, and we can see the tree through the broken wall. But if you look at the top of the mushroom, that's actually snow. And if you look down at the bottom there, if you come down, you can see there's snow on the ground. It's brilliant. Right, what have I done here? Sorry, there's a man playing music behind me. It's kind of throwing me off slightly. Right, so yeah, so you've got the capercaillie, you've got the robin, beautiful robin, and then I love the red squirrel. It's like looking at us saying, what are you looking at? So you've got this. Oh, sorry, I'm just letting him go in front of me because his noise was making me crazy. Right, and then as we come along here, we've got a badger, and you can see like the acorn, and then we've got the hairy coo, Highland cattle. You've got the Scottish bluebells there. Bluebells are a protected plant, so you're not allowed to, damage them, pick them, dig them up. And then you've got the badger sneaking through, having a little peek through at us. And I'm just going to bring us around to the other side of these cars, because it goes on all the way to the end, and I know we've overrun slightly, and I'm really, really sorry, but I want you to see the whole mural. And then you've got the little hedgehog. Isn't that gorgeous? No, it's a hedgehog. Hedgehogs, what are they, bigger? Like they're kind of like bigger than your hand size. And then over here, where's he going? He's going into here. So over here, this wall is in not as good a condition, but I'll just let you see down before the guy comes in. You've got this lovely red squirrel. Again, another red squirrel. That's the native species to Scotland. So these are the creatures of Scotland. Look up here. You've got a bee. We've got to protect the bees. And then you used to have a hedgehog. Oh, that's so cute. Now here, more bees. Then you've got the dandelions. And then if you look up, you've got the does, the deers here. Then you've got the stag, letting everybody know he's there. And then we've got the fox. Now I'm going to come back over here just so that you can get a better view of the fox and the stag together. And I'll just take it along. It is an absolutely amazing mural, and for it to be in a car park is just mind-blowing. It just and that's the amazing thing about Glasgow, the fact that they have the imagination to come up and do things like that. And I'm just going to show you one last little piece. There you go, there's a worm. So everybody's represented. All the animals, insects, worms, we're all here. Yeah, well, see, that's the thing, that the amount of time it's taken, especially this one, because last year they had to repair a bit at the far end, so the amount of work that's done by these artists is amazing. But if you want more information on the murals, you can, I think if you put in Glasgow Mural Trail, the information about each mural will come up, and I'm definitely going to do a mural trail so that we can see them all, because they are gorgeous. And then I'll probably do that one as an as live, but the way that I do the as lives, you can still take good quality postcards of them, but I'll also take actual photographs and put it in the chat, so I can put it in for you just in case you don't happen to be able to get a good postcard. And then we can do it. I'll try and walk it as if you would normally walk it, but some parts of the distance, just to cut out getting bored, I'll take that bit out for it. And I will have to do a separate George Square and the Merchant City and things tour, because I mean that was an hour and I felt like I ran at the end. And we've hardly gone any distance at all. But thank you everybody that has tipped me. I really appreciate it. Thanks everyone who's followed me, because again that makes me know that you enjoy what I do. And my sponsors, I saw some of you there, thank you very much. And yes, I'll download it and I'll put this on as a rewatch for you. Okay, thanks, bye.